The following podcast you're about to listen to is brought to you by the Push Start Media Network, where everything you do in life begins with pushing start. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of SYE Quick Hits. On today's episode, we are doing the 2020 season preview for the New England Patriots. Here again with my guy Ed Reuter. Reuter, man, these Patriots, they took a hit this offseason.
Good. Good. I hate them. That's what I'm starting with. I'm starting with just some completely unwarranted just hate for no reason. I just hate them.
No, I feel you, bro. I don't feel too bad for Patriots fans or this organization at all. But I mean, last year they had a good season, typical Patriots season, 12-4. Winners of the AFC East again.
Okay, stop.
But I mean, hey, that joy didn't last long, man. So for like the first time ever, they didn't have a first round playoff bye, and was knocked out.
Yeah,
by the Tennessee Titans, man.
Yep, I think that my Miami Dolphins had a piece of that.
Oh yeah, week 17. You guys 17, took them out.
The Patriots couldn't get by that mighty Miami Dolphins
team. Magic, baby.
That's right. And I think ultimately that's what did it. You know, that run in with the Titans, and they're out of here. So for anybody that's out there hating on the Patriots like me, you can thank the Miami Dolphins for that one. That knocked them out of a bye, and the rest was history, man.
Last year just didn't feel like a New England like I don't know, it just didn't feel like they was going to go back to the Super Bowl. Like every year you just kind of know like, oh yeah, here come the Patriots again. They're going to be in the Super Bowl. They're going to get the number 1 seed and blah, 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 blah. But last year just didn't feel like it. I don't know. Like Tom Brady didn't have the weapons to throw to, like his best receiver. Like it started off like early that everybody was picking them the favorites, and they had Antonio Brown for a game, and they had Julian Edelman healthy, and they had, what's the guy I'm looking for? I can't stay off the juice. Stay off the drugs. Help me out. Wide receiver. Gordon. Yeah. They had
Josh Gordon.
Yeah, Josh Gordon.
He was seeking reinstatement again. The news just came out yesterday. But we'll see. Yeah,
we'll see what happens with that. But so they got off to a hot start, but then like everybody started to get hurt, like injuries on the offensive side of the ball. They cut Brown after his whole issues he had going on. Eventually Gordon got cut as well. And Edelman as your number 1 receiver and only reliable threat, who, you know, he's a decent receiver, but he's not a number 1 guy that you want. He traded for Mohamed Sanu. That didn't really work out. But the defense, defense was pretty much carrying them, man. That defense was elite.
Well, here's the thing with this. I think that, you know, I have no love lost for the Patriots, right? I am not a Patriots guy, but the one thing that I'll say is that defense, they played out of their mind last year. I remember specifically because I had the New England Patriots defense on my fantasy team, and week in and week out, they were putting a ton of points on the board, even in a league where the defenses don't score a lot of points. So that defense was excellent. They were opportunistic. The defense scored a lot of points for them and put them in a lot of good situations. Huge plus in the turnover battle. And I don't see it happening again. I don't see how the team with that roster, right, aside from Coach Bill Belichick, the greatest coach of all time, how they get back to a 12-4 record without any kind of, you know, name value up and down the roster. There's just nobody there that I can see that they can rally around, and how this team could possibly be good again this year. I don't see it.
You just mentioned it, man. Like just from the names, like they lost the greatest quarterback of all time in Tom Brady. He signs with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this offseason, on the offensive side of the ball. They on defense. They have a lot of key losses here. Kyle Van Noy, Jamie Collins. Like those are 2 prominent players on that team, man, that like Van Noy is a leader of that defense. You know what I'm saying? Like Jamie Collins was a versatile linebacker there for them. They still have probably one of the top 3 secondaries, I would say, top 5 secondaries in the league. You still got the McCourty brothers back there. They were signed.
You've got Patrick Chung,
Devin McCourty, Patrick Chung. Yeah, they got the other McCourty. I forgot his name, but they got the McCourty brothers. So we'll see. Excuse me. They still got the defensive player of the fucking year. Let me not forget fucking Gilmore. Holy shit. So their secondary should still be pretty elite there for them. However, I think like the major question going into this season is like who's going to be the starting quarterback. Like they re-signed. They signed Hoyer back to the team, and he's going to have a chance to compete with Jarrett Stidham, who, you know, I don't really know too much about Stidham myself, but maybe you can speak on him a little bit more. But
nope, I cannot. I don't know anything about him, nor does anyone else. Coming out of college, he seemed like he was a project. That's what everybody said of him coming out. He still seems like a project to me. I don't think anybody's seen enough game action of him.
Right.
Belichick obviously seems to like him. He sees something there. He's done that in the past with later round draft picks. Yes. Belichick's had some success.
Definitely found some success.
Found some success with sixth round quarterbacks in the past. But in this case, I don't know. I don't want to pretend that I can speak on it and say he's going to be this, he's going to be that. I know that he's going to have a tough road ahead of him.
Yeah.
He certainly doesn't have a lot of weapons around him.
That's a fact.
He's returning a couple of the receivers that you mentioned. I think Edelman's going to be back there when healthy. Sanu will be back when healthy. He's got a nice little run game, I suppose. With Sony Michel, I like him as a player. I don't think he's a Pro Bowler or anything like that, but he's serviceable. But again, that we're going to eventually talk about in our quick hit series of 2020 previews. This one's really tough for me.
Yeah.
Because again, aside from the secondary, that's, you know, littered with some great names. There's Chung, the McCourtys, Gilmore.
Right.
Beyond that, I don't know how you take this team deep into the playoffs. The division's getting better. The Dolphins are going to be better. The Bills are now predicted for the first time in like 15 years to win the division this season. And I am actually a little bit lower on the Patriots than I think a lot of people are.
I think you got to be, though. Like, you know, you can't lose the best player of all time in NFL history and then expect to be like the same team.
And lose a ton of other pieces.
On top of that,
well.
right. Yeah, on top of that. Now, like you said, to your point, like they're probably the most well-coached team in the NFL with Bill Belichick. You know, he's going to come prepared every week, every Sunday with a very solid game plan that they're going to stick to it. And they still should be a pretty decent team. But at the same time, we just don't know what we're getting out of the quarterback position. Like who he's throwing the ball to. Like they still didn't address their situation that they had with receivers. Like you got N'Keal Harry, the rookie they drafted last year. You still got Edelman. They drafted 2 tight ends in this past draft. You know, but still, like, there's a lot of question marks. There's too many question marks with this team. And until we can actually see the product on the field, it's kind of hard to predict how good they're actually going to be.
I agree with you entirely. And a lot of times I'd like to think that I have, like my finger on the pulse a little bit. I can tell where a team's heading. I'd like to think that, you know, looking at rosters and looking how they performed last year and, you know, looking to see what they've got going on, I can give a pretty accurate prediction of at least have a general idea of where this team's heading. And I think it's almost impossible with these guys. Looking at this roster, you would look at it and you would say, this is not a good roster.
Yeah.
But then I have this feeling that they've been this juggernaut for the last 20 years. They're the Patriots. They're going to be good.
I got the same feeling.
They've got Belichick. They're going to outcoach the other team almost week in and week out. So they've got that going for them, right? They have a winning tradition. They have coaching staff that knows how to win. They're probably going to win the turnover battle every week.
Most likely.
And again, not to the tune like they did last year where it was outrageous, but they're going to put themselves in a position to win every week. But eventually it comes down to the players on the field.
Right.
And there's, like you said, too many question marks. Yeah. I don't see it at all. I don't know how you pull a deep run in the playoffs with this team. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see how. Honestly, I don't know if they get to the playoffs. You know, and it'd be
really?
as crazy as that sounds, because like, especially with the playoffs expanding this year, now it's going to be 7 teams from each conference, and it's just, to me, like, I'm not going to count out the Patriots as long as they have Bill Belichick on their team. I'd have seen him take fucking Matt Castle as his quarterback and win 11 games.
Yep,
you know what I'm saying?
And that's why I said that's what keeps me thinking that this team will still be good.
But also, at the same time, to touch on that point, I also seen that team that won 11 games still have weapons like Randy Moss, Wes Welker. You know, they still had viable threats.
And that's why I feel like this team might not be good. It's so hard. This is a tough one, man.
I think the defense is definitely going to be top 5 defense again this year. I think that they'll definitely keep them in a lot of games.
You think a top 5 defense, even with with the losses of Collins and the like? You think they're still going to be top 5?
See, that's the thing with New England is like they develop well. They develop their talent well. I look at their draft picks, like their two second round picks that they drafted, Kyle Duggar, the safety, and then John Yush from Michigan, the linebacker. I feel like they're going to play decent roles. I don't know much about those players per se, but I know that Belichick get the most out of his players. And if they have any semblance of talent, he's going to get the most out of their players in their rookie season and develop them into quality starters, I would assume. We'll see what happens with these 2 tight ends. You know that New England Patriots love running that 12 set, the 2 tight end set.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens with that. And I like Sony Michel. I think he's a good running back. I think that he had 1,000 yards from scrimmage last year. He barely missed it by 1,000 yards rushing. I think he can have a bounce back season and can kind of be the bell cow for this offense to kind of lean on.
I think you're right in saying that if they have success with a brand new quarterback, with receiving weapons that are certainly bottom half in the league, if not bottom third,
right?
They're going to have to lean on that running game. They're going to have to play good defense. I think they're going to win. Unlike Patriots teams we've seen in the past that can be explosive offensively, whether it be with Moss or whether it be with Gronk, teams that can put points on the board. This is going to have to be a team that beats you 17-10. They're going to have to win a lot of ugly,
old school football,
14-3 type of ball games to win some games. And I don't know.
Yeah,
it's going to be an interesting year for the Patriots.
The days of 35 points per game, I think, is done at this point. Unless Stidham comes in and he's the next fucking Tom Brady, as far as we know. For prediction wise, though, man, what you thinking? How do you think this team is going to end up?
Well, I love that you threw it at me first. The hardest one ever. I've got to go first for it, but I will say, just ignorant, always, just me with the hard decision first. Then you get to come in and say something smart after I already said something dumb. But it's okay. I'm good with it. So here's where I'm at with these guys. This is an 8-8 or 7-9 roster at best. Okay, I have to respect that Belichick, New England winning tradition, Patriots way franchise. Right?
Yeah,
I think that puts them in that 9-7 range.
Yeah,
it's a tough schedule again. I've said it before. The AFC East has a tough schedule this year,
and they got the first place schedule too.
Yeah, and they play some tough teams. Their schedule is no joke, and they've got to play a Bills team that's much improved, a Dolphins team that's much improved. I want to say their range is 8-8, 9-7, and I think I agree with you that they're going to be out of the playoffs. I really think that. I know Belichick is a monster.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. I don't see a secondary alone with a beat up offense, a whole bunch of no names in the front seven.
Right.
Even with Belichick, I'm thinking 8-8, 9-7 out of the playoffs.
Also, real quick before I get my prediction, they were able to retain Adam Butler, defensive lineman. I was looking at his numbers earlier. As a defensive tackle, he has 6 sacks, which is kind of impressive. He's like a 3rd, 4th year guy. So, that was a nice, able to retain, I should say. They was able to keep him in. And I'm with you, man. I feel that the New England Patriots, it just feels wrong picking them not to have like a decent record. Like, it doesn't feel like I can pick them to go like 6-10 or 5. Like, you look at this roster, it looked like a 5-11 roster.
Yeah, I don't love the roster. I'm saying, but if this team went 5-11 or 6-10, I wouldn't be shocked.
Right, exactly.
I don't see it. So I'm going that 8-8, 9-7.
I'm with you on that one as well. I feel like that, like 8-8, 9-7. I'm gonna cop out and go 9-7 as well. And just because like Belichick, just the mystique of the Bill Belichick regime, like he just does it. He just gets it. Like he's gonna come in with game plans. He's gonna win games that he should lose. But at the same time, no, I don't think they make the playoffs. Like I can think of teams that are better teams right now on paper that I feel like we'll get into. Like, they're not the best team in their division right now. Like, the Buffalo Bills are the better team in their division.
I agree.
I feel like Baltimore Ravens and Pittsburgh Steelers are better teams, albeit, staying healthy. Cleveland Browns has a better team on paper.
The Browns have an incredible roster.
Right.
If their new coaching staff can come in and do anything with those guys, they should be better than the Patriots.
Kansas City, Denver, like those are teams I feel like have better rosters than this Patriots team.
You could talk about Tennessee the same way. Tennessee has,
Indianapolis. Yeah. So it's going to be very difficult for them to secure one of those 7 playoff spots. But it's one of those things. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they go 5-10 or 5-11, 6-10. I would not be surprised if they fucked around and went 10-6. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Looking at all the teams that we'll be predicting, this one might be one that has the highest range for me.
Yeah, I feel
a range
you.
of where I wouldn't be surprised. The Ed Reuter wouldn't be surprised range. Because if they came out and went 5-11, you look at their roster and be like, okay,
Makes sense.